From Anshei Sphard-Beth Emeth congregation, it's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to our discussion of Parashat Vayechi, the essence of leadership. If we look at the stories of Joseph as they come to a close here at the end of the book of Bereshit, we ask ourselves, well, what did he accomplish? Did he live out his dream? Whatever happened to that dream? And then you say, well, what was the point of that dream? That everyone should bow to him? Is that a significant thing that they did bow to him, they didn't bow to him? Do we care? Should Joseph care if people are bowing to him, not bowing to him? Is there an ethical significance to that? Is there a spiritual significance to whether they bow to him or they bow to someone else? Who cares? Ramban makes it even worse because he says that the whole point of all the torture that Yosef put his brothers through, the difficult times he put them through, and the father, it was all to fulfill the dreams. He remembered the dreams, and that's why he put them through all these difficult trials in Egypt to make sure that they would come and bow down to him. Really? Is that significant that they bow to him or they don't bow to him? Is that something we have to bring to fruition somehow? The Rabbi mentions that when Yosef was playing around with the brothers, he was playing with their emotions. First he was treating them like spies, then he treated them like good friends, and he gave them a big banquet, and then he accused them again. When he was doing all these things, it was a series of complex feelings. He felt in many different ways. He felt vengeful, he felt like he was loving, he had a lot of different ideas. I think if you look at the bottom line of what emerged from all his feelings and his complex mind, you can see it turning and trying to figure out what he should do to deal with these brothers, these wayward brothers, these now repentant brothers. In the end, he realized that you know what the dream was? I am going to provide for you. Come on down, he says. Come on down to Egypt because I'm going to provide for you. That's what's going to happen. That's what the dreams meant. You know, and then he says, it was for sustenance, for living, to help you live that God sent me here. My role as a leader is not for you to bow down to me. There's nothing important about that. No, it's your wheat is bowing to my wheat, meaning your wheat needs my wheat. In other words, you need me. In other words, I as leader will provide for the entire family. That is leadership. You know, Yosef had two dreams. One dream was stars and the moon were bowing to him. But the first dream was that the bundles of wheat were bowing to him. Now Rashi says that the idea that the sun and the moon representing his father and mother would bow to him, there's some foolishness there because his mother is dead. And he says there's always some foolishness in a dream. After all, dreams are often just things we're thinking about. But one might suggest that there's another shtus over here. The whole first dream, the whole second dream, the dream of the stars and the moon bowing, that whole thing is just self-aggrandizement. Because there are two elements to the dream. The one element is that he will provide for the family. And one is that he will be promoted to this elevated status and everyone will look up to him, no Joseph. That was shtus. The idea of the self-aggrandizement, that's the shtus. That's the youthful Joseph getting carried away with himself. But the other idea, that I will be the provider for everyone, this indeed is what's the real dream. This is the real fulfillment. This is the real hope that he had. There's a story told of Rabbi Yitzchak of Berditchev, as Eli Wiesel tells it, is that one time he was asked by his father-in-law, now I have a son-in-law, such a scholar, such a chassid, you go and you'll lead the services that day. So he gets up and he's getting ready, an important holiday, to lead the services, puts on his talis, takes off his talis, puts on his talis, takes off his talis, puts on his talis. And then he starts talking to himself and he says, well, you went to yeshiva and you're such a great scholar and you're such a great chassid, then you daven. Takes off his talis, sits down. Father-in-law was humiliated. Here is supposed to be this great son, and look what he's done. This is terrible. And he says to his son-in-law, "What was going on? What are you doing? What kind of stuff is going on here?" He said, look, I got up to daven, and the Yetzer Hara came with me. He wanted to daven too. So I said, look, I studied in yeshiva. The Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, said, I also studied in yeshiva. He says, I'm a great Talmudist. He says, I'm also a great Talmudist. He says, well, I'm a great Chassid. He says, I'm also a great Chassid. So he says, if you're such a great Chassid and you're such a great Talmudist, then you daven. In other words, every time we get up to do something in leadership, something in public, as Rabbi Hershel Schachter pointed out, there's no way to play a public role without compromising our modesty. It's part of what we do. So when we get up to lane, to daven, to give speeches, to write Torah, to lead, as an element of, I want to be president. I want to be leader. I want to be rabbi. I want to be the speech writer. I want to be the Torah reader. And that is the foolishness in it. But that's where the Yetzer Hara is. The Yetzer Hara is right there. He's learning away with you. He's davening. He's giving speeches. He wants to be a rabbi too. And then there's the other element, the element of helping people, of being there for others, of doing for others, of providing for others. That if you're in a role of leadership, then you know what? You can help a whole lot of people. That's leadership. And that's what Yosef came to learn. God didn't send me here so I could be the famous Yosef and pat myself on the back. God sent me here to save my brothers, to save the whole family. And then there's a tragic element, because you would think, well, but you get both, right? He provided the family and he was the great Yosef, right? Former British Chief Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sacks says that, the story of Joseph is a great example of the master-slave dialectic. Because, Joseph wants to be the master, but the master is often enslaved to the slave himself. And Joseph, the great Joseph, needs his brothers. He needs them to be brothers. But in the end of Parshat Vayechi, they turn to him and they say, we're slaves to you. In other words, don't kill us. In other words, we don't trust you. In other words, we think that you've been providing for us just because of the Father. And now that he's gone, you're going to kill us all. We don't trust you. We don't know you. We don't really appreciate you. We just think you've done it all just for your dad, just for self-aggrandizement. And Joseph breaks down and cries. He can't believe it. He's achieved this great dream, the childish dream of being the great leader, the great Joseph, and the great provider. And he did it. He provided. But the providing, the good part, the part where you actually help people, it doesn't always come with the self-aggrandizement. That was the youthful mistake. You think that by doing good, you'll get patted on the back for it. You think everyone will love you for it. Very often, you do good things. It doesn't always come with that. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes people don't appreciate it. People get jealous. People get angry. People don't appreciate it. People never want to talk to you again because you help them. They don't want to be embarrassed. There's an element of leadership that's foolish. There's an element of leadership that's so vital. Joseph learned the hard way that the only leadership that you can really provide that's rock solid, that you can do it and you can accomplish it, is to help others and provide for others. The other part, whether people will bow to you or not bow to you, whether people will lift you up on a pedestal or not, this is the foolishness, this is the haughtiness, this is the Yetzer Hara, this is the evil inclination. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Our job is to do what's right, to help others and make other people's lives better. Maybe if our leaders and politicians would do that, we'd be a lot better off. Thank you for joining us here, our discussion of Parshat Vayechi. Join us each week for our discussion of the Parsha, the various holidays. And thanks to Jason Lefkowitz, our producer. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein. To learn more, visit asb.org.